What's going on, guys? In today's video we are going to be finally doing the manual swap on the Skyline. It is currently an automatic. So as you can see, this is an automatic Skyline and we're going to be changing it in this video. Alright guys, we have everything for the manual swap. We are ready to put everything in. So starting with the little things, we got the speed sensor, and this is actually from a manual NA300ZX because they don't make ones for the RB25 anymore. So find one any way possible. This is hard to find. Next, we have the slave cylinder. Here's the part number. Here we have the pilot bushing that goes into the rear of the engine. Here's the part number. Here's a snap ring, another snap ring. These go on the shifter area. Here's, I don't know if this is the brake pedal or clutch pedal cover, but here's the part numbers for both the pedal covers. Right here we have, this is the cup that sits in the transmission. But yeah, this is from GK Tech, so I'll leave the part number. This is the shifter dust boot thing in the center console area, so this is also from GK Tech. This is the retainer ring for the dust boot from GK Tech. We also got the GK Tech clutch line. I'll leave the part number as well. We got the master cylinder for the clutch. Here's the part number. You have to get a clutch alignment tool. This is the clutch gasket, the clutch pedal gasket. This is the rear main seal. Here's the transmission bolts. Here is the center console surround for the manual. We got Tomei shift knob. We got clutch pedal. This is actually from an R33. Again, R34 ones are expensive, but the R33 is literally the same one, but this is used. This is the engine plate. Some say you can use the automatic one, but just to be safe, I'm using the engine plate for an RB25 DET. We got ARP pressure plate bolts for the clutch. Here is the NISMO short shifter. I'll also leave a part number for a regular shifter. Here's the part number for a NISMO clutch disc. You can also get an Exetti stock one, which are like 300 bucks. Here's the clutch cover from NISMO. And here's also a NISMO lightweight flywheel. And here is a brand new 5-speed from NISMO. Also for the transmission mount crossmember thingy, you can use an auto one on the manual. So this is where the crossmember sits and the transmission mount sits for the rear. And this is different from the auto. So if you are reusing the auto, the bolt's going to be a little different. You can use a T one from a 300ZX. You can also just get a big bolt and a nut, which will also work. But yeah, this is everything you need for the manual swap. There's also two things I forgot to record on the parts list. It was the clutch slave cylinder. So this is a pull type one, which I am using in this car, but I chose the NISMO one instead of this regular one. And also before I bought this one and the NISMO one, I accidentally bought a push type, and that's where this becomes a preference. If you're using a R33 gearbox, you're probably going to be using a push type slave cylinder. But if you're using a big box and it's brand new from Nissan, it's most likely a pull type, but people do push type conversions, but that's a whole separate thing. But I'm doing specifically a pull type on my car. And I also didn't mention the drive shaft I bought. I cut it from the video because the drive shaft I bought was for a small box. So if you are using a small box R33 5-speed manual, it can work, but later in the video you'll see I used a custom drive shaft. Alright, so to cut the clutch pedal hole out, we recommend moving the seat first. So you take this bolt out, and the two fronts. It's pretty straightforward. And after you take those off, then you can take the seat out. Alright, so you see this thing right here? You're supposed to cut that out. So we're gonna do that. Honestly, you don't even need to cut out that much. It should just, like, you should pull on it, it should come out. But these are the holes that I'm talking about. You're supposed to drill those.
Go! Keep going. You're almost there. Go. There you go. All right, pull it out. Perfect, bro. Good job.
So after you drill a hole, you should put the clutch pedal in from the inside and have someone help you from the outside put the clutch master cylinder in. And before you put the clutch master cylinder in, it's recommended you put the clutch line in first because they give you no room and it's just easier to put the clutch line in while it's out. And then there's like no room for the bolts, so like you must either have really thin fingers or squeeze in there or have a really thin
All right, back that out a
socket
little
or
bit.
whatever, but it was really hard for us to screw in the bolts.
Do it again.
So as you can see here, I have done the pedals. They look beautiful. So you don't need to touch the accelerator, but you need to trim the brake pedal, and you shouldn't do anything if you bought the clutch pedal. But there is a bolt up here that you're supposed to screw in for the clutch pedal. But I don't think I can see it in the camera. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna be prepping the transmission. We're gonna put the speed sensor on and the slave cylinder on. Hopefully that isn't bad. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. So let's just do that right now. Alright, here is the speed sensor, and this is a very expensive part, so we want to make sure nothing goes wrong with this. So let's use some brake cleaner and clean up the speed sensor. The seal on here looks to be in good condition, so we don't need to worry about that. So now we should take this off if it wants to come out. Oh, there we go. And then we should be able to slide this. Oh, perfect. Oh my god. Let's go. Okay. So these are the bolts. Probably leave the part number on screen. This is the bolt. It's pretty small. Let's see if it will go in. Oh, there we go. Speed sensor is on. Next, we do the slave cylinder. Alright, so this is the correct slave cylinder. So let's put this on. Alright, that won't move. One last snug, tight. Well, I don't want to. Yep, there we go. So when you're in here, you're supposed to pry this out. It's pretty simple. There's a thing right here. You can honestly just pry out with your hand, but you just boom. Actually, I forgot. This thing, it just pulls out. There's a screw right there. Alright, so for the cigarette lighter, that's like the hardest part, and you don't want to damage it because you're gonna be reusing it unless you get a new one. But basically, in here, just take like the back of a screwdriver and start smacking it, and it'll become loose, and then you can just pull it out. That's pretty much it. The best way to not damage it. I mean, you'll probably get a couple scratches on the back, but no one sees that. You'll only see the front. So yeah, just smack it in the back and it'll come out. And the rest of the stuff, I just started yanking and pulling. I kind of broke some wires and stuff. You can go on which way you want it. If you want it to be neat and stuff, but I accidentally yanked the shift knob and pulled it out of the wires, so it's broken. So I guess I can't go back to auto right now, so oh well. We're here, and you just disconnect a bunch of plugs, and then there's 4 bolts, one here, 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 and here. You just unscrew those. Alright, so we got the drive shaft out. This is the drive shaft. You just pull it out after you undo these back bolts. So let's take out the transmission finally. Make sure you drain the oil in the pan as well, because it will be really heavy and you don't want anything coming out. So best if you drain it. Alright, I know this is supposed to be a tutorial, but it's like the hardest thing I've ever done. So there's these bolts down here, and there's also a bolt here, a bolt up there, and also a bolt on the side and a bolt up there. Why did I took an extension, I lowered it with the trans jack, and then I made like the longest extension ever. It's longer than this. It just broke in half, but I got it out, and now this plate needs to slide out. So I believe this is to undo the bolts in there. So I'm gonna do that and I'll get back to y'all. There's too much to record. Basically, you are supposed to unscrew those out so it's easier to wiggle this transmission out. What I did was I unscrewed all of them, started backing it up, and it was hard to back up because whatever is connected in there, they're like stuck. It's possible to do it, I think, because it was like moving, but yeah, you just shake it off, you know. And then yeah, here's a better look at where the bolts are. Oh, okay. Just a little update. This, let me turn this around. This bushing right here, it was impossible to take out. So I did some research and saw on a Prism mic video this tool you should get from Harbor Freight, and it worked, but I was so weak, so I called my friend Donnie, who literally helps me with everything. Thank you, Donnie. He helped me take it out, and I was able to put the new one in with the 14mm socket. Put the new one in, and it just should sit flush like that. And now we should do the rear main seal. Basically, just put a screw in and then pull it out. Alright, rear main seal is in the car. What I used was the old one, and just use a mallet, and it just keep going until it sits in place. Next. Also, by the way, if you see these hard lines hanging, if you unbolt them, you can just pull them out. If you're just using the OEM radiator and you're not switching to another radiator, it has transmission lines. If you just cut the rubber and just route one end to the other one, it should just make a loop, and you don't need to worry about it. We gotta do the rear engine plate. Look at that fresh engine plate. Alright guys, when you have the flywheel on, you're gonna need to torque it from 50, all of them, and then 80, and then 110, and torquing it. Many people, like forums and YouTube videos, say that you need someone to hold the crank up there, but I'm doing this alone. So the best way is to, you see one of these holes, or the best, don't do what I did. Look, I bent this out, so I have to bend this back in to match the holes. So what you need to do is put a screw like this. This screw came out of something over there, but yeah, put a screw in here, get a small 10mm, and then put a screw in the, I guess this is the mounting bracket, but not the bottom. No, don't do the bottom, because I made the mistake of doing that and I bent it. So put it in this one, so it will stay. It's jammed, so you can torque it and you don't gotta worry. And the engine does move a little bit because, I mean, there's no transmission, so don't worry about if the engine moves. So yeah, you just torque all these down and you're all set. And now we can move on to the clutch and the clutch cover. Alright, so we got the clutch, flywheel, and clutch pressure plate in. Make sure you tighten these bolts in star pattern to 33 feet-pounds of torque, and this should be in. And make sure this comes out in and out smoothly. And yeah, why is that not going in? Hold up. Oh, there, got it. Alright, so it should come in and out, and then now it's time for the transmission. Alright, we have the transmission in. I skipped a lot. Oh my god, this is probably the most painful thing I've ever done. So okay, where do we start? This thing's a pain to get in. I stripped a screw right here, and there's a hole. Made in the thread, so I can't even put a bolt in, but it should be fine because I torqued all the bolts down. Top bolts are impossible. The top starter bolt was impossible. You gotta try. It's impossible to record this thing, but I'll have the torque specs on screen. If I were y'all, so I did this alone, but I had the help of my friend Donnie. He helped me muzzle the transmission in. If you're doing this alone, I recommend 2 transmission jacks side by side, because this is a big transmission. Other than that, the plate fits. These things, these engine mount or whatever, these are fragile. I bent that one, but Donnie was able to bend that for me. Also, to get the transmission in, it's recommended you take the subframe bolts out, which is this bolt, that bolt, and then that bolt. Other than that, I reused these bolts for the mount. This is the auto transmission mount. Yes, you can reuse this like I did. What else? Yeah, this is just really hard to put in, and you gotta be muscular or have two muscular dudes. I'm not even muscular. I had one muscular dude help me. But yeah, all these metal shavings because of it scraping. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drain, or actually I'm gonna put the drive shaft in, the new one. Get some new trans oil because they have transport oil in this. I'm not sure if you can use it, but just to be safe, I'm gonna take it out. We're gonna bleed the clutch system and then put the interior bits on. And yeah, I just realized I got the wrong front half drive shaft. This one is smaller. I have a 30 spline count, so I gotta get a different drive shaft. Alright, so I went with a company called Shaftmasters to make drive shafts, so I got a custom one-piece drive shaft made, and it turned out really nice. And supposedly one-piece drive shafts and aluminum drive shafts, because they're light, they should give me better response. I mean, it is a non-turbo Skyline, so it's not going to be the fastest, but I do want a responsive car. Alright, it's a different day, and we got the new drive shaft. It's a one-piece drive shaft from Shaftmasters. And I also decided to go ahead and put the trans fluid in to check for any leaks, and we're all good. I have that hole unblocked so it can level itself out because you don't want to overfill the transmission. So once this stops, we plug it back up, and then we put the shifter on, connect the wiring, and I'll go over the wiring in a second, and then we can start the car. Alright, so here's the snap ring that goes above the shifter white thingy down there. So I hope this should snap in place. Alright, so sorry it's nighttime, but we got the shifter lever in. So then you're supposed to do the C-clip, which was annoying, but you have to use these pliers. I have a picture of them on screen because you can't see them well in the dark. But now we just install the dust stuff and then the actual thing, and then we're done. So let's get that installed. I put the new shifter surround gear knob. I just put everything on, and it looks OEM. Everything looks good. Looks like a factory manual car. So as you can see, I have done the manual fascia conversion for my automatic speedometer cluster, the gauge cluster. And to put it back in, it's actually kind of harder. You should take this, so once you have this off, there's two screws on the top and bottom, and this should come out, and this cluster can just slide in, because I couldn't figure it out. I was going to take my steering wheel off and everything.
So here I have wired in the reverse and the neutral. So this line in gray comes in from the fuse number 12, and that one I'm going to run to two lines. One will be just the switch for the neutral and the switch for the reverse. For the switch on the neutral, I have that going back to the line that is black and pink, and the reverse switch, I have that going to the red line. That's all that the wiring diagram sort of shows is needed, and it does start the car. For the wheel speed sensor, I'll be going to this yellow or brown plus yellow, and this green plus white lines. These will just join there.
Alright, to connect the two wires, we use a solder sleeve, and we heat it up, and now we're putting electrical tape. Alright, so here's a little better view at this. So this is the reverse. So we have the green wire going into the red wire that's sticking out of the car, and then the black one goes to this gray wire. But we also have the purple wire going into the gray wire from the neutral safety switch, and then the black wire from the neutral safety switch goes to the purple/black wire. So that is our reverse and neutral safety switch all figured out. So that's good. So next, for your speed sensor, you got the green wire going into the yellow brownish wire, and you got the yellow wire going into the green/white wire. So that's pretty much it for the wiring for the car. So if you were like me and got the connectors from Wiring Specialties, it should all plug in like that, and then like that. And then I do have the other end for the speed sensor, but if you got the connector from Wiring Specialties, this one, there's like a little plastic thing. If you just cut that off, it'll slide into the regular, I mean, if you are using a 300ZX speed sensor. But other than that, that's the wiring, and they have these little tabs in there that you can just tuck the wiring away. So up above, like you just push that to close it. Alright, that's all tucked away. Won't come out because we got the reinforcements on, so that's all good. So boom. So for the clutch system, I was unable to successfully bleed the slave cylinder properly, but I was able to bleed the master. Basically, I called my mechanic friend. He did it for me. Shout out to him. So basically, I was doing the water bottle method, and that wasn't working. And I have a feeling why it wasn't working. So if you're doing the water bottle method where you put like... Okay, so if you were doing the water bottle method, you would have your slave. You would put the 8mm and then the line into a water bottle that has some fluid in it so air wouldn't get out. So you would have someone press the clutch pedal, and then you open this, you crack it open, and then fluid should come out. For me, fluid was coming out, but air was also coming, but it was infinite. I was just doing it for so long. So while it's down, you crack it open for like 5 seconds, and you close it, and then the person lets go of the clutch pedal, and you just repeat that over and over again. But basically that wasn't working, so my friend, he used a pressure bleeder. I don't know how to use a pressure bleeder, so I don't know how to explain it, but he probably pushed this way to get the air trapped in the middle. But yeah, so this was really hard for me, but he did it in like 30 minutes. So literally that's all you gotta do. It shouldn't take you 2 weeks like it did for me. So yeah, I hope that helps someone. If you're just infinitely bleeding it, you should probably adjust the clutch pedal, and with the master there's like a little bolt. It's where you put the clevis pin. I'm assuming if you're doing the swap, you at least know where the bolt is. So, but there's a little bolt, you have to just adjust until the pedal, like, you can feel it. But I'm not sure if that's a fix, but I'm assuming like it is, because I was probably pressing it down and it wasn't opening fully, so it was letting out a little bit of air at a time. Other than that, the car is done, and in the next video I will be showing y'all me learning how to drive manual. I've driven it a little bit, I've driven it to work, but I messed up a lot. But I'm gonna be doing a full, practice session, and you'll see that and see how the car drives. So other than that, we have a manual swapped Skyline. It's all done. I'm so happy it's done. I hope this helped some people who are doing a manual swap, especially the wiring, because there's no information on wires. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all in the next video.